The 2-second version: if you are a beginner and want to try or experiment, you need to get with someone on your level. You're listening to The Mistress Code. I'm RacyWilde. I went on a date last night. Dates can be controversial because I normally go on dates with vanilla people, and at some point, there will always be the big reveal of who I am, a femdom. Sooner is better than later. In fact, I actually leave clues in any swiping app bio, and sometimes I am blatantly obvious. But it is difficult revealing who I am and what I am into, because every date I go on, the person has an agenda. A date is never just to get to know me. It is always because they want something from me. Kinksters want play, and vanillas want to be taught. It is very rare to go on a date and a person just wants my company. So, the date last night was very vanilla. Just a walk and drinks at a trendy bar in La Latina. We talked on all the introductory points: Spain, living, work, language, food, and traveling. I wasn't feeling it with this guy. He was adorably nice, but that was the problem. I could tell that he would be too naive about kink and BDSM, so I didn't even bring it up. When I was trying to close our date and say goodbye, he asked, "Why so early?" I thought he could feel that there was nothing between us. So I said, "It was nice to meet you. I'm going to head off." But he wanted more. "I don't think we have a strong connection," I replied honestly. "Oh, I thought we had a great connection," he said. "Oops, very awkward," I replied. I think that I will be too kinky for you." He asked, "How so?" Oh my God, here we go. So for the next 30 minutes, I indulged him with information from my kinky world. He told me he was interested, and I said that the problem is I don't do beginners anymore. Why? Everyone has to start somewhere, is the usual answer by most beginners. I refuse. Yes, but it is difficult for someone doing a PhD to teach kindergarten. I'm so full on with philosophy, methods, and techniques that I can't simplify things enough anymore, and I don't want to. It's best for beginners to play with beginners because they speak the same language. "I get it," he said. "My lesbian friends complain all the time how they are sick of being with women who just want to try with another girl to see if they like it. My lesbian friends feel used because they put all this effort in only for the see if I like it girl to realize she doesn't like it." Exactly, I concurred. It's the worst investing in a beginner. It's like when you take hours preparing a meal only for them to say that they don't like it and they don't want to eat it. All that work buying the food, cooking the meal, and setting the table for us to have a great dinner date, and then they just so easily reject it. So beginners are a huge risk to take on. Normally beginners are like a whack-a-mole in the kink scene, popping up here and there, disappearing and reappearing over a few years until they realize they can't live without kink. Usually, they have had a long vanilla relationship that leads to sexual boredom before coming to this realization. But such people are the ones I stay away from. They are time wasters. They use without giving anything in return. This is what I've written on one of my swiping profiles. I'm not looking for people who just want to try or experiment. I'm not a charity. I prefer people who know what they are doing so we can do amazing things together. BDSM is not like sex. With sex, you get a lovely time in the moment. It doesn't have to mean anything or be connected to any other sexual experience or build from it. It is what it is. But with BDSM, especially if you are into dynamics, which is building a power exchange relationship, You need things to connect and progress. You are building a unique power exchange construct, and that can't happen with singular, disconnected encounters. I think this is also largely the difference between kinksters and DSs. Kinksters want unconnected play. DSs want connected play to increase power dynamics. But I could tell my date was still hopeful that I would consider him, since he was so smart to know how beginners work. So I had to kill it. I'm too experienced and advanced for you. They never fucking believe me, so I have to show them. I show them my trophy wall on FetLife. Then I say, and you can imagine all my naughty pictures that are too extreme even for a platform like this. And this is when they realize we are not compatible. And this is when I'm off the hook. The thing is, when you play with someone, you have to play at the lowest level between the both of you. If you're a master with a beginner, you have to play at beginner level. It is difficult and unsafe to try to make the beginner play at the master level. It's like Messi playing Little League. He might be able to do tricks and beat all the kids, but to accommodate their level, he has to fumble, not run as fast, and pass the ball when he knows he will lose it, just so the kids can feel like they are doing well and they are part of the game. Messi might get satisfaction from helping and raising the new generation, but if he is stuck there and never able to play at his best, always having to downplay his skills, he will become disheartened, lose interest, and maybe even develop contempt. If we can't be at our best with the one we are with, then what? I gotta tell you, there have been so many times where I have done something brilliant, but the beginner submissive is absolutely clueless to it. And if I have to explain it to them, it undermines the brilliance. They can't appreciate it, and so we can't share in the amazing thing that just happened. I would say the only context that makes being with a beginner rewarding is when you know that they will move through the levels to get up to you. But this can never be guaranteed. In fact, it's extremely rare to find someone with such dedication. I'd say I've only really seen it work when the pair is also in a marriage. When you don't have a romantic entanglement, the usual time with a dedicated submissive is 6 months to 2 years. And then when a dominant loses a submissive, they have to start all over again. And you cannot teach a submissive everything in just 6 months, let alone them being at the stage where you'll start to enjoy and progress and innovate. And then when the DS relationship is over, perhaps after 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, and you've only taught a basic few elements, and you never got up to the stage where you could actually feel like you're getting something in return, it gets boring after a while, putting your hope in beginners. Not to mention that you have to start all over again with a new beginner, so it feels like Groundhog Day. My understanding is, if you are a beginner, you need to play with beginners and then work your way up until you become better. Better at submission, surrender, obedience, and faith. Better at training, pain, anal, and stretching for slave positions. Better at BDSM, knowledge, experience, and protocol. A BDSMer like me takes all this very seriously. I value such things. But most people, especially beginners, don't care. They just don't give a fuck. And in general, kinksters don't care because mostly they just want to wing it to have fun. The ladders are not appealing to me. They waste my time and efforts. They are the Groundhog Days that never learn, never progress, never achieve anything. Or if they do, it's at a snail's pace. or the relationship ends before they get any traction. Yes, I have met hundreds of kinksters that have been in the scene for 2, 5, and even 10 years and know absolutely nothing about BDSM and domination and submission. Of course, when seeing my pictures on FetLife, to his credit, my date realized I was out of his depth. But I didn't want to crush his hopes. For me, yes, but not for kink and BDSM. I told him the best thing is to learn about kink and BDSM so he can know what interests him. When he discovers what kind he is in the scene, a kinkster, a BDSMer, a fetishist, a gender bender, a swinger, it will orientate him to his tribe so he can continue learning. Though I often have to say no to beginners, I do hope to find the diamonds in the rough. That's why I keep trying. But what I look for most is someone who is interested in me, not what I have to offer, which is the rarest of people to find. I said goodbye to my date and had a lovely walk home, past the streets and bars and art houses, never to see him again.